Okay, I guess that worked. So I am Ron Pope, and I am here live in my house. The same as everybody else, I guess. We're all in our houses at this point. So I'm here. I just put out a brand new album called Bone Structure. I'm going to play you some songs from that record and talk to you a little bit about songwriting. And so the first one, this is all the songs on this record are they're directed at my daughter. They're either stories about my experience being a father so far, or kind of point by point accounts of things from my own life that had some where the narrative I thought had some kind of value. There was a moral or something in it. And this is the first kind of song. It's like I said, it's the first one I wrote after for her after she was born, and it talks about the changes in my perspective that becoming a father created. And so this is called My Wildest Dreams. I find that now I'm always listening. God knows I used to talk so much. The ocean doesn't need the sailor. The sky was there before the dust. I spoke in riddles and in rhymes, but my time with you has taught me to simplify. You're not quite what I pictured you would be. You're better than my wildest dreams. I won't leave you when you're sleeping. I will be here when you wake. 'Cause I got ghosts, I got demons. They will not chase me away. 'Cause I've been waiting all my life for some reason that I never could describe. You're not quite what I pictured you would be. You're better than my wildest dreams. I'm not sure what I can give you. Whatever's mine is yours to take. 'Cause I have never been a teacher, but let's both learn from my mistakes. 'Cause it has taken me so long to surrender. I hope no one could see. You're not quite what I pictured you would be. You're better than my wildest dreams. You're not quite what I pictured you would be. You're better than my wildest dreams. Thank you. That is My Wildest Dreams, which, like I said, is on my brand new album, Bone Structure. So the American Songwriter sent me some questions to go over as I do this. But the first one is for after the next song. So I've been kind of, I was supposed to be on tour in Europe coming up pretty soon. And so when that got canceled, I was like, oh, I would really love to be able to kind of reach out to everybody and, play some music for them. And so I started playing in my living room in sweatpants because it's pretty infrequent at this point that I put on real pants. So I've called this series Live and in Sweatpants, and I've been playing from my living room every Saturday night, and sometimes during the week, kind of whenever when the baby's asleep. We have a 2-year-old, so when the baby's asleep and I have some time, it's been nice to just kind of get to sing some of these songs, and so some old songs as well, for everybody. Kind of feels a little like normal, a little bit normal for me, and I guess for everybody else at home too. So anyway, so this is another new song from the new album Bone Structure. It is called She's Good, and it's about the time in the time after I left home. I was kind of out making music, and trying to find out what I could about the world. Like, I don't know exactly what I was searching for, but I was searching. And so I met a lot of other kind of seekers in that part of my life, a lot of other people who were searching for things. And so this is about one of those people, but it kind of could have been about all of them, I guess. And it's called She's Good. Leather jacket, trip to Colorado, drinking from the bottle, don't want to waste the glass in the morning. I pray she'll still be with me like the remnants of this whiskey. She'll keep clouding up my mind. She wrote letters to the orphanage the year that she aged out. Came to town to pass the weekend and then never turned around. I was 16 and a half years old, did what she said I should. Yeah, she's good. I kept wondering, singing about my mother, trying to call my brother, leaving messages at home. Despite my blessings, I felt hemmed in by the city, like a bird trapped in a chimney, always crashing into walls. And when I got back home to Georgia, she was nowhere to be found, till she sat right down beside me and said I should buy the next round. I would cry, but I think first things first, I'll probably knock on wood. Yeah, she's good. She don't want to need anything like me, but now she's laughing, saying I'm so simple. My fingers trace a dimple on the right side of her spine. Her Christian kindness ran out of gas in Memphis, but her wanderlust is endless, so she kept on down the road. And I don't think that either one of us is ever going home. And I know enough about her to be sure there's things I'll never know. I can't tell you how this ends, but bet you that she could. Yeah, she's good. It's true. She's good. And so that is She's Good. It's on my new album, Bone Structure. And like I said, there's kind of two sorts of songs on this record, and that's the kind that's they're narratives from my own life. And so I do have a question here that American Songwriter sent me. Also, if anybody who's watching at home, if you have questions, feel free to put them in the comments, and I'll see if I can answer some of them while I'm doing this. So the question about She's Good. Let's see. Do you find writing love songs about heartbreak to be different than writing about the joy of being in love? Is a heartbreak song something that you want to write by yourself, while happy love songs find their way into more of your co-writes? Well, so at this point in my life, I don't really co-write so much anymore. It's like pretty infrequent. They call that the Nashville handshake, where people say, "Oh, we should write a song together." I don't really do a whole lot of that anymore. Because at this juncture, I'm mostly writing for my own project, which, on this last album was so incredibly personal that I found the bulk of the songs that I was writing ended up, being this. I was writing all sorts of different songs, and I was co-writing some at that juncture. But then we had this crazy thing happen. We were in London, and I was coming home from some shows in another country, and my wife and the baby were staying there. And so I showed up, and then I got out of a car, I went in the house, and then immediately the driver was attacked by these masked men, which is crazy, but it sounds like something from a movie. So he called me, and he was really scared, and he made me really scared. It was just, it ended up being fine. It seemed like just kind of these people got him really afraid, and but he didn't, they didn't hurt anybody or anything like that. It really made me very afraid, and it kind of made me think a lot about mortality and how short our lives are, and it got me thinking about what my daughter, what I would have left for her if something were to happen to me, because it's not like masked, as we've seen recently with this kind of worldwide pandemic. It's like, it's not as if bad men have to decide to drop from the sky to end your life. It's anything can happen, and so it just made me think a lot about what I was saying to my daughter, in my music, if anything at all. I hadn't written many songs, directed at her yet, because she was so new. And so, anyway, so the record ended up, being very personal. And so I found that there's only one co-write on the entire album, and it actually is a song about heartbreak. It's the song "Take the Edge Off." I wrote it with the incredible songwriter Emily Scott Robinson. But yeah, over the years, I've written love songs with other people. I've written heartbreak songs with other people. At this point in my life, I just kind of prefer to write my songs by myself. And so mostly I do. But that's not a hard and fast rule. I also used to co-write more when I lived with other songwriters. Like now I don't live with any songwriters. So that changes it a little bit too. So this is still in tune. So I'll play you. This is a song from the new album, Bone Structure. The song is called Wait and See. Working girls cursing teenage Marines till the TJ police came and broke up the scene. Damn the stars, they seem brighter down here. Haven't looked up in years since I left where I'm from. Remembering St. Augustine was in Kuwait 23 with a bag full of secrets in a maze of concrete. In a busted lip I came by honestly. What will become of me? I guess we'll just wait and see. Headed south and sitting at us again, carried slow by the wind, broke as I've ever been, buried deep. All the beauty I keep, drank tequila so cheap that they should have paid me. Then I woke up alone with my hand on the phone, and nobody to call would invite me back home. Was I chased all this away by my chemistry? What will become of me? I guess we'll just wait and see. I'll come down off the cross. Sometimes we all get lost. I'm so sick of myself. Can't afford what it costs to be drowned in a sea of my memory. What will become of me? I guess we'll just wait and see. And so that is Wait and See, which is another song from my new album, Bone Structure. Let me see. I'm trying to see these comments. Anybody that has any questions, by all means, put them in the comments there. I think I'm seeing the comments. I'm not sure. But I have a question from American Songwriter here. Do I have any tips for getting discovered or signed? Well, I think discovered is sort of a relative term. I think, you have to think a lot, when you're making music and you're trying to make a career out of it. I think you have to kind of think about what exactly it is that you're attempting to accomplish. Think about it in really concrete terms, like some people want to compete, at the highest level of, pop artistry. Like some people want to be peers with Beyonce. Like that's not like what I'm trying to accomplish. And so I don't know. I don't consider that kind of stuff. So I don't know about things like that. For me, it's like, I've slowly built an audience over many, many years, kind of one person at a time, continuing to make records and reach out to them. So I think in my mind, the most important thing that you can do is, if you're trying to reach an audience and you're trying to share your music with people, is, to make something good, which maybe sounds kind of reductive, to some degree, but, that's kind of like always the overarching idea behind what I'm doing. Like I'm doing my best all of the time. And I'm, really, I write for myself, but then I think about my audience in terms of what we're going to release. We always say it's like I write for myself and I edit for my audience. It's like, and so considering what we're going to put out and like how, what it means to me, and then, how do we turn it into something that is going to make sense to other people. And then in terms of getting signed, I don't even really honestly know what that means anymore, honestly. It's like, because how do you get signed to a major label in 2020? I don't know. Write a song that gets 1 billion streams. Like I'm, I don't know. But, if you want to get signed to an indie label that's going to, foster the kind of thing that I was just talking about, or, or a major label that's inclined to like make art, then that first thing you just make something that you believe is really good, and then try to find people that connect to it, and build. For me, that's been the answer. It's just like continuing to chase the muse and try to do whatever I think is good, and then slowly build the audience, one person at a time. And I think that's true with finding partners to do business with as well, because you will only want to work with people that really understand what you're doing and who the people are in your audience, like who you're trying to connect to. So I'm going to play you a song from the new album. It is called Habits. It hasn't rained yet, but it's coming. The air is New Orleans in the summer. Been told I shouldn't say the places and names. If you leave out all the details, isn't everything the same? We've all got bad habits and some damn good times. We broke some hearts and wasted some daylight. We probably should know better by now, but old habits die hard. We're still walking around. Well, almost nobody cares about what you feel. Only what you accomplish becomes real. Still, I've been crippled by my anxiety, but I guess it's better to be wrong in the pursuit of being free. We've all got bad habits and some damn good times. We broke some hearts and wasted some daylight. We probably should know better by now, but old habits die hard. We're still walking around. Well, I've heard the chains of habit are too weak to be felt, till they're too strong to be broken, but I'm not sure how that helps. We've all got bad habits, have some damn good times. We broke some hearts and wasted some daylight. We probably should know better by now, but old habits die hard. We're still walking around. We've all got bad habits, have some damn good times. We broke some hearts and wasted some daylight. We probably should know better by now, but old habits die hard. We're still walking around. Old habits die hard. We're still walking around. That is called Habits. It is on my new album, Bone Structure. And so there's a question about that. So let me see what it is. The question is, sometimes the only way we break a bad habit is by receiving some good advice. With that said, what is the best advice you have ever received and have given? So the best advice that I have been given about music, Jackson Brown told me this once. My uncle used to work with him a long time ago, and they're friendly, and so I went and talked to him after one of his shows once, and I was complaining about kind of things I was struggling with, and people kind of giving me aggravation, with the label I was working with at the time. And he said, you got to follow your gut. Everyone that you remember did it their own way. And so I thought that was really, really valuable. I was pretty young, and that was, that really struck me. It's like, people who are working at record labels, most of them are going to come and go. And they're not staking their lives on every record that they put out. But you're putting your name on it. And so it's like, it doesn't, whatever, like Joe music industry, it doesn't really matter what his or her opinion is. If you want to make a career that lasts, you got to do something that you believe in. And so that's probably the best advice that I ever got. Everybody you remember did it their own way. So follow your gut. So thank you, Jackson Brown. And then the best advice I've ever given, I mean, I don't know. You probably should ask people that I know. I don't know. I'm doing the best I can over here. Uh, I would say, that song Habits does, talk about a thing, this is a pep talk I sort of give myself. It's like, the second verse is about this kind of, this like, this dichotomy, that sort of happens where it's like, I know people don't really, most people don't care about how you feel. It's like a very select group of people that are really close to you care about what you feel. And beyond that, it's, people really, beyond that small circle, they only care about what you do. And even with that in mind, and even with the kind of like intellectual understanding of that, I still sometimes struggle with anxiety and stress and all these other things. And so, I've done my best to try to, intellectualize away some of those struggles and not allow my head to get in my way, but it's hard. So so the last thing that I'm going to do, we're going to talk about. I'm going to move this. I'm going to talk a little bit about a song that I wrote a very long time ago. This is not usually something that I do, but they asked me to talk about it, and so I wrote a song a long time ago, about 15 years ago, called "A Drop in the Ocean," and it's it kind of became this. It was before before things were going viral, it went viral. I was like one of the first artists to really break in a meaningful way on the internet. So it was strange, fascinating times. And so I wrote this song. It really became this giant runaway hit towards the end of 2007, and it's kind of never gone away. And so it's it's a fascinating thing as a songwriter to do that, because you write a lot of songs. You don't know what is going to connect with people. I certainly didn't know that this one was going to. It's I wrote a number of other songs in the same period that I also liked. It was pretty surprising to me. So they asked me some questions about it. What inspired me to write this song? I wrote it in a few parts. First of all, so originally the chorus had different words. I wrote all the lyrics, and I wrote all of the music except for the central the central theme. So the main theme of the song is like. So that part, my best friend who used to be my roommate, Zach Berkman, he wrote that. But I had written a number of other parts. I had different words to the chorus in the beginning, and but the story, what I was explaining was the same. This is about heartbreak, and I was 22 years old, I guess, when we started writing this song. So 22 years old. And so, it's about, getting my heart broken, and, the confusion of growing up. It's there's a line in there. I was a boy who loved a woman like a little girl. It's like, we're all like growing up. It's like I was, treating somebody who started to feel like a woman, like she was a little girl. And there's a lot of that, like, it's like a confusing time coming of age. And so yeah, it was a song about, that period in my life and heartbreak, and the pain of leaving love behind. And so it is the musical part is a co-write, and so the way that came to be co-written, I'd been in a songwriting circle with Zach. That's how we met, actually. And so we're good at workshopping together. We're very comfortable with it. We're good at co-writing with each other. We're like at ease with it, and we're good at constructive criticism and stuff like that, because we've been doing it a long time. And so, I played him. I had a few parts. There's, I had the "Still I Can't Let You Be, Most Nights I Hardly Sleep," which is the pre-chorus. And that same thing, the thing that is the bridge now, something like that was the end of the song. So I had that, and I had the chorus, just with different words, but the same melody. So I went and I asked him. I was like, "Hey, man, Kimberly, if you just tuned in, that I played that at the very beginning. It's called My Wildest Dreams. It's a new song that is out on my new album, Bone Structure, and you can check that out wherever you listen to music. But anyway, so I had these parts, and he came into my room, and he sat down, and I was like, "What would you play in the verse?" And so I played him. He played him all my parts and that I had, and then he asked me to play them again. I played him all the parts I had, and he said, "I don't know. How about this?" So he just played it like that. That is the main figure of the song. And so I, I was like, cool, okay. It wasn't like a big to do. It was we wrote songs together all the time. We tossed around ideas like that all the time, and so that is how that co-write. I'm answering the questions, by the way, from American Songwriter here about the songs. That's how that co-write happened. And what has it been like to have written a song that is so popular or has seen so much success? It's weird. It really is, because like I said, I started writing that song about 15 years ago. And I edited it maybe a year later, and that's when I changed the chorus words. But like I said, I functionally had the whole song in 2005, I guess. So it's been almost 15 years since I wrote it, and it seems like every time that it seems as if clearly it can't get any more popular or reach any more people. It just seems to kind of not go away. It's wild, and it's exciting. It's exciting to have it be a part of people's lives after all these years. I wrote a song with Michael Bolton a number of years ago, and I asked him, do you ever get sick of playing your really popular songs? Some of which he had written, at the end of the 80s and into the early 90s. And he said no, because they make people, make people so happy. And I had, I was maybe 5 years into this being a popular song, and I was like, that's how I feel now. I was wondering if I would feel like that. And that has stayed true all this time. People, people, it feels good to play it, and because people like it. It makes people happy to hear it, and so I feel, I'm gratified that I created something that means something to people. And I feel that way with all the popular songs. It's I write them for me, but then I put them out for you. I want them to connect to you and be a part of your lives. And so, what was it like to have a song just completely blow up everyone? So that's kind of the Katie. That's kind of the question I'm answering. Is it's unbelievable. It was really staggering, and it was I'd say that the most surprising one in terms of the songs getting really popular was One Grain of Sand, because I didn't know that it had gotten very popular. It wasn't I hadn't realized. And then I played a festival in Sweden, and 10,000 people were standing there singing along, and I was like, oh, this, that was much more whoa, this is a hit song. A Drop in the Ocean, it's been kind of this gradual thing over many years. That it got a little bigger, and then it got a little bigger, and it got a little bigger, and then it, so yeah, it's staggering. The whole thing is unreal. So anyway, I am going to play A Drop in the Ocean, and I think that'll be the end of the broadcast. So thank you to American Songwriter for having me. Everybody check out my new album, Bone Structure, and tune in. I've been doing these live and in sweatpants shows from my living room, which is where I am now. And so tune in for those. I'm doing one 7:30 Central Time this Saturday. So this is A Drop in the Ocean. Jump out in the ocean, changing weather. I was praying that you and me might end up together. It's like reaching for rain, as I stand in the desert, but I'm holding you closer than most. weekend. If you don't love me, pretend a few more hours, then it's time to go. As my train rolls down the East Coast, wonder how you keep warm. It's too late to cry, too broken to move on. Still I can't let you be. Most nights are hard to sleep. Don't say what you don't need from me. It's just a jump right in the ocean, a change in the weather. Forever's raining, then you and me might end up together. It's like a vision for rain as I stand in the desert, and I'm holding you closer than most. You are my heaven. Misplaced trust in old friends, never counting regrets. By the grace of God, do not rest at all. Knowing that as the leaves change, last excuse that I'll claim. I was a boy who loved a woman like a little girl. Still I can't let you be. Most nights are hard to sleep. Don't say what you don't need from me. It's just a jump right in the ocean, a change in the weather. I was raining, then you and me might end up together. It's like a vision for rain as I stand in the desert, but I'm holding you closer than most. You are mine. Heaven doesn't seem far away anymore. Heaven doesn't seem far away. Heaven doesn't seem far away anymore. Heaven doesn't seem far away. It's just a jump right in the ocean, the change in the weather. It's raining, then you and me might end up together. It's like a wishing for rain as I stand in the desert, but I'm holding you closer than most. You are my heaven. Oh, you are my heaven. All right. So that is a drop in the ocean. Let me see if I have any more. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I think I've answered the bulk of the questions that I can. I appreciate everybody tuning in. Thank you to American Songwriter for having me. Everybody, please check out my new album, Bone Structure, wherever you check out albums, and tune in for my Live and in Sweatpants show maybe this Saturday. Stop by 7:30 Central Time. We'd love to have you. All right, y'all have a good day.